1.2 million views, almost 9,000 bookmarks in 3 days. That's what happened when Thariq, Anthropic engineer working on Claude Code, shared a single technique for using Claude Code. So what is it? It's deceptively simple. Instead of telling Claude what to build, you let Claude interview you first. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how this works, when to use it, what to watch out for, and I'll show you how to turn it into a one-command shortcut you can use anytime. Let me show you. The problem that we've all had at some point is that you give AI a prompt, it builds something, and it's not quite right. Maybe it missed an edge case. Maybe it made assumptions that you didn't want. Or maybe it completely misunderstood and went in the wrong direction. So you go back and forth, hoping that this next iteration, next fix will be the final one. And the issue is ambiguity. When requirements are vague, the model fills in the blanks, and it will fill them in differently than you would. Thariq's technique flips this completely. Instead of you prompting the AI prompts you. Here's the exact prompt. I'll put it in description so that it's easy to copy and paste. So read spec file and interview me in detail using the AskUserQuestionTool about literally anything. Be very in-depth and continue interviewing me until it's complete, then write the spec to the file. That's it. And here's the workflow for it. First, start with a minimal spec. Even one sentence can work. Second, Claude interviews you with probing questions. 3, after 10, 20, sometimes even more than 40 questions, you have a detailed spec that you control. 4, start a fresh session and tell Claude to implement the spec. That's it. Let me show you this in action. I'm going to start with the most minimal spec possible, one sentence. I create a file called specmd and write just one sentence. Build a CLI tool to save and search bookmarks. Easy. Now I launch Claude Code with dangerously skipping permissions, paste the prompt, and let Claude interview me. Now watch what happens. Claude doesn't just start building, it starts asking me questions. What do we do with stale links? What's the search scope? What do we do with duplicates? And so on. Boom, done. Look at this. 157-line spec file. Claude Code asked me 32 questions. It had some really good questions that I wouldn't think about that made this relatively simple tool a really, really useful one that I actually even want to start using. Here's everything about it. What's the tech stack, what's the data model, what commands should be used and how, some examples, what's the output format, what's the storage format, what happens on the first run, and what were the non-goals that were not taken into account deliberately. This took a few minutes for me to answer all the questions, and I think that would have taken me a couple of hours to first think through all of the edge cases and then write this down. Now I'm ready to implement this. I start a fresh session in Claude Code. This is important to clean context and just say implement the spec. That's it. Clean context, implement specmd. Let's go. And now Claude Code goes to work and gets me the BM CLI tool for bookmarks in probably 5 minutes, one shot. And Claude Code just finished building it, one shot. Let's see if it works. What do we need to do? npm link and then bm add. npm link, bm add, very scientific article AI company logos that look like buttholes. Fetching title done. BM list. Here it is. Works, one shot. I have a database and a CLI tool that works and I can use it right now. Awesome. Now, why does this work so well? The back and forth forces you to clarify your thinking before any code starts to be written. And Claude asked me 32 questions for the bookmark manager, and some I expected. That was my idea what to build. But maybe 1/3 of them were either very detailed that I wasn't even thinking about, or downright surprising and actually good. For complex features, you might get 40 to 60 questions. Usually I get between 20 and 30 on average. And while that sounds like a lot, but you are front-loading all of the thinking needed for this project or for this feature. It's no more, oh wait, what about something after you've already built half the project or half the feature and need to re-architecture everything or change something at the foundation level. Now, once you've used this a few times, there are ways to make it even better. You can add anti-goals. You tell Claude what not to do so it doesn't go down the rabbit holes. Like, don't add authentication. Don't over-engineer the database, or I'm the only user of this app. Sometimes skip this entirely. If you already have very clear requirements, or if it's a small change, or you know exactly what you want, just build it. Don't ask it. Don't use this process. This technique shines when there's ambiguity. When there's no ambiguity, it's an overkill. And now it's time to make this even more powerful and easy to use. I'll turn this into a / command that I can use anytime in any project. For that, I need to create a file in my Claude global config directory, Claude commands interview md. This is how it works. Description, interview me to expand the spec. Arguments that the / command takes, allowed tools, model, and now the prompt. But basically it's the same. It takes the argument of a file with the spec, it gives the rules, it tells what to do before writing, and then it tells what to do after. Now let's see if it works. spec2 md. And in the spec2, I'll put the same that we put in the first one to see if we can automate it even further. I needed to exit Claude and start it again so that it picked up the interview command, and now interview spec2 md. It's reading the file. It's doing exactly what we did before, now with / command that is available in all of my projects. Awesome. Try this out on your next feature. Seriously, even a small one. And then you can drop a comment, how many questions did Claude ask you, or what surprised you. If this was useful, subscribe. I'm covering more Claude Code workflows, both development related and the ones for everyday life. Links to everything in the description and to all the copy-pastable code. Now go ship some.